welcome to our Let's Talk Baby. We thought with the holiday season upon us and visitors coming that we would do a quick live about how to manage visitors with a new baby, not only to keep your baby healthy, but also to keep your sanity, as well as help you to navigate through some judgy comments that might come your way. So my first thing is to be sure that you talk with your partner about the visitors coming over, any concerns that you might have. Also to come up with a safe word that when you're feeling overwhelmed or you've just had enough of it, that either that could be a good time for your partner to kind of wrap up the visitors, or that's a good time to know, okay, she's had enough, so that you go and retreat to your room or your calm place, wherever that is, so that you can take some time for yourself. And it is okay to take time for yourself. So don't feel guilty about that. You need to rest. You don't need to feel stressed. And just a good break can help you with that. And also too, babies can get overwhelmed with so many visitors. So they need a little break as well. So kind of look for those cues in your baby, especially if they start to get really, really fussy. That's a good time. You want to look for the cues beforehand, but if they get really fussy, you know, okay, they've had enough. Let's go into a quiet room. Let's relax. But some cues that you can start to look for when their eyes start to glaze over, or when they start to look away from faces, they're actually trying to get away from stimuli. So that's a good time to say, okay, these are the cues the baby's showing, that baby's had enough. So I'm going to just go and try to put baby down to sleep for a little bit. All right, so this is a good time to help educate visitors as well, and we're going to talk about that coming up here soon. But having you and your partner on the same page is going to be a world of help, and having that safe word so that when you have had enough, you can go ahead and retreat and y'all both understand what's happening. All right. Also, don't feel the pressure that you have to have people come over. It's okay to say no. If you're not feeling up for it, it's okay. Or if you're not feeling up to going somewhere to go and visit, it's okay. So listen to yourself, listen to your body, take the rest that you need. If it's going to be too stressful, you know that. And if that's the case, then pass this time. All right. So don't feel guilty about that. There's enough mommy guilt to deal with, and that's just not one of them. All right. Now, if you do have family and friends come over, this is a good time to enlist them for some help. Don't feel like this is a time that you have to host them or you have to entertain them. All right. This is a time they're coming over to visit. They want to see you. They want to see the baby. They want to help you and enlist that help. And you might not remember exactly what it is that you need, but maybe putting a list on your refrigerator of some tasks that they can do to help you could be a nice way that you could say, these are some things I need done. Pick whatever you want to do, and they can feel like they're helping out. Do know that if you have dishes or laundry or doing your floors or something like that on there, they may not do it the way you do it, and that's okay. They're doing it in their way. Let them help. Try not to be too picky about how they do it. Just let it get done. But some good tasks that you could put on your list would be going to the grocery store, making dinners, doing some tasks around the house like laundry or dishes or floors, taking the dog for a walk, or making sure the animals are fed. Or if you have older children, take them out to the park or take them out to do something fun while you stay with the new baby. Or some things to help with you. This could be a good time. Maybe you could go take a bath or a shower, or you could take a nap. So any of those things that they can do to help you will make it easier for you, and it'll make it easier for them because they don't have to read your mind to know what to do. Also, don't feel guilty if you need to go take a nap because you're tired. Do it, all right? If you have visitors coming over and they're not staying with you, maybe you work out a schedule ahead of time that you group people together and then there's a few hours break before the next group comes. Other things that we really want to talk about is we want to be sure that we keep babies healthy in this time, because babies are susceptible to all kinds of germs and illness. And we're in flu season, we're in RSV season. RSV is a respiratory virus that can be really, really life-threatening and serious in some infants, especially premature infants. So we really want to protect our babies. While breastfeeding does provide that great antibodies and does help to protect them against illness, we want to do all that we can to protect them at this time. And so that means making sure any visitor is not sick when they're coming over, or they don't have a sick family member in their household. They may not think that that's a big deal, but that person's been coughing, droplets are going into the air, and now they could be carrying that into your home. So let's try to make sure no visitors are sick or have anyone who's sick in their home. I think this shocks me the most because I see this in the hospital setting a lot when visitors come and they have a cough or they're wearing a mask because they've been sick. If you're sick, this is not a time to come and visit the baby, all right? So please make sure visitors are not sick. Also, hand hygiene. Number one way to reduce the transmission of infection or germs. So washing their hands before they touch the baby. Having hand sanitizer right by the door, so when they first come in, everybody gets hand sanitized and then they wash their hands before they touch the baby. Having a hand sanitizer by the baby's area so that you can quickly hand sanitize anyone who's going to touch the baby, or even for the little kids who don't wash their hands very well, they could wash their hands and hand sanitize so that you could get that double protection, because we know little kids are petri dishes. They have all kinds of germs on them, especially if they're going to school or daycare. In that environment, you might want to, when they come home from there, that they change their clothes and they wash their hands, so that we could just make sure we're keeping baby as safe as possible. If you have visitors that do show up with a cough and are saying it's allergies or something like that, which, here in Austin with cedar season, it absolutely can be allergies. But maybe just having a mask so that they could cover their cough and they're not coughing into their hands. So that could be something that could be helpful just to have. Also, ask visitors not to kiss baby's face or baby's hands, and also not to touch baby's hands, because babies put their hands in their mouth. And we're not washing baby's hands or hand sanitizing baby's hands, right? So the more we can not touch baby's hands and keep the kissing off of the face, the better, so that we're not spreading the germs. Now, I know it's irresistible, babies are irresistible and you want to kiss them all over, totally get it. But maybe kissing their feet, unless they're old enough that they're putting their feet in their mouth, then we don't want to touch their hands or their feet. Or kissing the back of their head, or kissing their belly and giving them raspberries. That's the best thing to do, right? So then that way they're not exposing baby's oral cavity and nasal passages to those germs, just to keep them safer. If somebody has a cold sore, it's really important to know that cold sore, the herpes simplex virus, can be transmitted to babies, especially those at risk are in the first 4 weeks of life. So if somebody does have a cold sore, you want to cover it up or have a mask available. Be sure that they're washing their hands really well, and for sure not kissing the baby. All right, so you can help to educate them with this. If somebody smokes, one of your visitors is a smoker, no smoking in the house. And then when they are done with smoking, that includes e-cigarettes too, okay? So no smoking in the house. Go ahead and wash your hands after you smoke before you touch the baby. And then know that cigarette smoke can get on your clothes as well. So you might want to either have them change their shirt or put a buffer, put a layer between the baby and the person so that the baby's not rubbing their face in the smoke as well. All right, so that's just something to think about. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of those judgy comments that may come your way and how to kind of buffer those, all right? I think sharing this part with your partner is really important as well so that y'all can talk about the answers to some of these questions, maybe even come up with some questions that you think your family might ask or say and how you're going to handle that. We all have that one person who likes to just say whatever's on their mind, right? So just being prepared for that is going to help you to navigate the comments and not feel flustered when these comments come out, all right? So again, that safe word is a good time to utilize that safe word if you're feeling overwhelmed by it. But I also think that this is a good time to educate them, the visitor who's using these comments, when they are saying these things. And so I'm going to go over some common ones that we hear. Our staff has pitched in on this. It's things that we've seen on our social media, and it's things that we've heard in our clinic as well. So we're going to go over some of those, and we're going to give you some answers, some rebuttals for that. But do know that you never know what they're going to ask you. So if you know your family member, you know what kind of questions that they may ask, it might be good to think of an answer beforehand so you're not caught off guard on it, all right? And I think the more education you could do, the better to help them to understand where you're coming from, all right? So I think the number one thing we hear is, are you still breastfeeding? Oh, are you still doing that? That type of thing. Yes, actually, breast milk does not stop providing nutrition to babies. Breast milk is very dynamic, and it's recommended as long as my baby and I desire to do it. In fact, the median age around the world is 4 years to stop breastfeeding. The World Health Organization recommends a minimum of 2 years of breastfeeding. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends a minimum of a year of breastfeeding. So yes, I'm still breastfeeding. I'm still providing my baby with the best nutrition possible. Okay. Another one would be covering up so that the men in the family aren't offended. Well, we have sexualized breast in our country. Breasts are actually vehicles to feed infants. They nourish infants. They are not sexual objects. So, you know, it's okay for Victoria's Secret models to be in their bikinis walking the runway, and all, that's fine. But a mom feeding her baby when you cannot even see anything is not. I don't think so. So if your male members or female members of your family are not comfortable with you breastfeeding and you don't feel like you want to cover up or go and feed in a room, then you can have them excuse themselves if that's what they so choose, all right? If you are more modest and you are worried about that and you want to cover up or go and feed in your room, by all means, all right? But this is for those comments of making others feel uncomfortable because you're breastfeeding. So that breasts are for food, all right? Talk about another question. How long do you plan on breastfeeding? You can revert back to that first answer that we talked about, the recommendations, and that it's still good for your baby no matter how long you breastfeed. Can I give the baby a bottle while you rest? Well, if your baby hasn't had a bottle yet and that's not what you're planning to do, then you could just tell them that actually I need to feed my baby frequently so that my breasts continue to make milk. If you do want to take them up on that offer, fantastic. Just feed or pump before you go to bed and take a nice nap. And kudos to you for getting some rest. But if you're not at that space right now, you could tell them that. Or you should give your baby formula so your baby can sleep better. babies don't need formula. As long as they're gaining weight appropriately and mom has enough milk supply, then breast milk is all that baby needs. Breastfed babies tend to eat more frequently because breast milk digests quickly. 60 to 90 minutes, breast milk is digesting, and so baby is ready to feed. And that keeps mom's milk production going because baby is feeding frequently. I use the analogy of a healthy salad or a loaded baked potato. Which one should we be eating more of? The healthy salad, so that baby, it's healthier for us, and then we are hungry sooner and we eat more frequently and not big meals. Whereas that loaded baked potato is just going to sit heavy in your tummy. Same like with formula, it just sits heavy in a baby's tummy, and then they don't come to the breast as often to eat. And guess what's going to happen to your milk supply if you're not getting frequent milk removals? So it'll go down. So you can kind of use that analogy for them so that you can help educate them on that. Or another one is you should put rice cereal in baby's bottle. No. That is old advice. It's not recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics. Now, there are some babies that do need it for health purposes that the pediatrician has said this is what baby needs. But if your pediatrician has not told you that because of your baby's medical history, then that is not something that is recommended to do. It actually can increase the risk of obesity, and worse off yet is that babies could aspirate the cereal into their lungs, leading to aspiration pneumonia. So it is not something that is recommended to do anymore. The other thing you might hear is, oh, you can't have that drink, you're breastfeeding. Actually, yes, you can have a drink. The best time to have a drink is right after a feeding or while you're feeding, since it doesn't go instantaneously into your milk. It does clear your milk within 2 hours. And the rule of thumb is if you feel the effects of the alcohol when it's time to feed, then you need to pump and dump. So if you feel like you're going to get crazy and you're going to have several drinks and whoop it up, then you might need to plan on having some milk in store so that you can pump and dump until you're no longer feeling the effects of the alcohol. Okay? The other thing that we hear is, oh, you need to sleep train because your baby needs to be sleeping through the night at this age. Absolutely not true. Babies are all different. Some babies are sleeping for 5 hours a night at 4 weeks of life. Others never sleep 5 hours a stretch at night. So every baby is different. It's really going to depend on your milk storage capacity, how much milk your breast hold, and how much milk that baby gets throughout the day. So the more frequently they eat and the more volume that they get during the day, the longer stretches that they will go at night. So it is very normal for babies still to wake up and feed at night. And prolactin, the hormone that makes milk, is highest in the night. So that milk removal at the night really helps with your milk supply as well. Now, if your baby is sleeping 8 hours a night, kudos to you, and don't worry about not getting that milk removal in the night. You obviously have enough milk that your baby is getting enough through the day that you don't need that additional stimulation at night, all right? It's such a great balance that your baby and your body do. So try to keep those naysayers with the baby needs to be sleeping, because every person's body is different. So it really depends on your milk storage capacity. Okay. And our final thing that we hear is that you're going to spoil the baby if you hold the baby too much. And that is a very old school of thought. Came from the Dr. Spock era. We now know that that is not true, that you cannot spoil a baby, and actually babies do need that closeness, do need to be held, especially in what we call the 4th trimester, which is the first 3 months after birth, when they're adjusting to life outside of mama and into our world. So hug your baby, love your baby, baby wear that baby, all right? You're not going to spoil them, so don't worry. I hope that these tips help you, help keep your sanity. Report back to us. Let us know how your holidays went. So until we see you next time, hope you have a happy holiday and a happy new year. Bye, friends.